Judge destroys him when victim shows up. He walked into Judge Caprio's courtroom wearing a police uniform. Not a security guard's uniform. An actual police officer's uniform, complete with badge, duty belt, and handcuffs. When the real officers in the room stood up and demanded to know who he was, he smirked and said, "Relax, it's just a costume. I'm an influencer." But what this TikTok star didn't know was that his parking ticket case would expose a pattern of impersonating law enforcement that had terrorized women across Providence for months. And when one of his victims walked into that courtroom, when she looked him in the eye, that smirk would vanish forever. Before we show you exactly what happened when this fake cop met real justice, drop a comment telling us where you're watching from. Hit that subscribe button because we're racing toward 1 million subscribers, and 93% of you still haven't subscribed to Judge Stories. If this case about social media gone wrong, fake authority, and why some people need to learn that likes aren't worth crimes makes you believe in accountability, leave a comment below, because what happens next will shock you. Providence Municipal Court. Tuesday morning, April 16th, 10:20 a.m. The morning docket had been routine. Parking tickets, minor traffic violations, the usual Tuesday fare. Judge Caprio was reviewing his next case when the heavy oak doors at the back of the courtroom swung open, and chaos walked in. Tyler James Brennan, 23 years old, strutted down the center aisle wearing a full Providence Police Department uniform. Dark navy blue, crisp and pressed, looking like it had just come from the dry cleaner. Silver badge number 847 pinned prominently to his chest, catching the fluorescent lights. Duty belt loaded with radio, handcuffs, pepper spray canister, and what appeared to be a Glock 19 service weapon in a regulation holster. He walked with the swagger of someone who thought he was about to go viral. The reaction was explosive and immediate. 2 actual Providence police officers providing courtroom security jumped to their feet simultaneously, chairs scraping loudly against the marble floor. Their hands moved instinctively to their weapons, muscle memory from years of training. "Stop right there." Officer James Rodriguez, 15-year veteran, stepped forward from his position near the judge's bench, his hand hovering near his service weapon. "Identify yourself, now." The bailiff moved to intercept, positioning himself between Tyler and the judge. People in the gallery gasped. An elderly woman clutched her purse tighter, half rising from her seat. A man in a business suit stood as if to leave, then froze, unsure whether to stay or run. A mother pulled her teenage daughter closer. The tension in the room was electric. That split second before violence, when everyone holds their breath. Tyler stopped in the middle of the aisle, looking genuinely confused by the reaction. His perfectly groomed eyebrows furrowed. Then understanding dawned, and he smiled. That confident, practiced influencer smile that said he thought this was all very funny. He pulled out his phone, an iPhone 15 Pro Max in a glittery case, and started recording, holding it at arm's length for the perfect angle. Whoa, guys. Chill. It's just a costume. I'm here for a parking ticket." He turned his phone toward the officers, narrating like he was making content for his followers. "Look at how they're freaking out. This is hilarious. They actually thought..." Officer Rodriguez's voice was ice. "Sir, you are impersonating a police officer. That is a felony. Put your hands where I can see them and put down that phone." Tyler's smile faltered. "Dude, it's not real. See?" He tapped the badge. "It's plastic, from Amazon. I make videos. I'm an influencer. I have 400,000 followers on TikTok. This is content." Judge Frank Caprio had been watching. Now he spoke, his voice cutting through the tension. "Everyone, remain calm. Mr. Brennan, approach the bench. Officers, stand by." Tyler pocketed his phone, still recording, based on the red light visible through the fabric. He approached with swagger. "Your Honor." The words were casual, disrespectful. "This is all a misunderstanding. I wear costumes for my videos. Cop, firefighter, doctor, whatever gets views. It's satire, free speech. I'm here about a parking ticket. Can we just handle that? This is already great content." Judge Caprio studied him for a long moment. "Mr. Brennan, do you see those two officers who jumped up when you entered?" Tyler glanced back. "Yeah, they overreacted. They reacted appropriately to what appeared to be an unauthorized armed individual in uniform entering a secure facility." Tyler shrugged. "It's obviously fake. Anyone with eyes can tell." "Can they? Officer Rodriguez, from your initial observation, did you immediately recognize this as fake?" The officer stepped forward. "No, Your Honor. From a distance, it appeared genuine. Badge, duty belt, patches, all accurate. It wasn't until he spoke that I realized something was off." Judge Caprio turned back to Tyler. "So your costume fool's actual police officers? That doesn't concern you?" "It's just for content, Your Honor. My followers love it. I do these role-play videos, fake traffic stops, pretend arrests. It's comedy." The judge opened the file. "You're here regarding a parking citation. Expired meter, Westminster Street, March 30th. According to the report, your vehicle was parked for 37 minutes. Tyler waved dismissively. "That's wrong. I was filming. In and out. The meter maid made a mistake. The citation includes time-stamped photographs." Judge Caprio paused. "But before we discuss this ticket, I have questions. Officer Rodriguez, did you recognize Mr. Brennan when he entered?" The officer's eyes narrowed. "Now that you mention it, Your Honor, yes. We've had reports. Multiple complaints about a young man impersonating police, stopping women at night. The descriptions match." Tyler's posture cracked. "That's not me. That's someone else. You just told this court you make videos wearing police uniforms. You do fake traffic stops. Is that not accurate?" "I mean, yeah, but everyone knows it's fake. It's for TikTok." Judge Caprio picked up his tablet. "Officer Rodriguez pulled up your social media. You have multiple videos in police uniform, approaching random cars, asking for licenses. You call it pranks, correct?" Tyler's face went pale. "Those are jokes. The people know it's fake eventually. Do they?" The judge turned his monitor toward the gallery. "Let me show everyone what your comedy looks like." On the screen, Tyler in full cop uniform, walking up to a car at night in an empty parking lot. A woman inside, visibly terrified. Tyler's voice on video. "License and registration, ma'am." The woman fumbling through her purse, hands shaking. "I'm sorry, officer. I wasn't speeding." Tyler laughing. "Nah, just kidding. It's a prank. For TikTok." The woman's face showed pure terror turning to shock, then rage. She speeds away. Tyler to camera, laughing. "Did you see her face? She totally bought it. Smash that subscribe button." The courtroom went silent. Someone gasped in the gallery. Judge Caprio let the video end. "This is your content, Mr. Brennan?" Tyler couldn't meet his eyes. It was just a joke. The comment section suggests otherwise. The judge scrolled. This woman wrote, "I would have had a panic attack. This isn't funny." You responded with laughing emojis. The gallery stirred angrily. "Social media isn't real life, Your Honor." Tyler tried weakly. Just then, the courtroom doors opened. A young woman entered, maybe 25, walking slowly. Her hands trembled as she found a seat in the gallery. She wore a simple sweater, arms wrapped around herself protectively. Officer Rodriguez spoke quietly. Your Honor, that's Jessica Martinez, one of the women who filed a complaint. She asked if she could be here. Judge Caprio nodded respectfully. Miss Martinez, thank you for coming. Tyler's eyes went wide. He stared at her, then looked away quickly. Jessica didn't look at him. She just sat there, reliving that night. Mr. Brennan, the judge said, do you recognize that woman? Tyler's voice barely a whisper. I think so. You think so? Judge Caprio's voice sharpened. You terrorized her at 11 p.m. in an empty parking lot. She thought she was being pulled over by a real officer. She thought she was in danger. And you don't even remember her face? Silence. Officer Rodriguez, how many complaints have you received? Officer Rodriguez pulled out a notebook, flipping through pages filled with detailed reports. His voice was professional but carried an edge of frustration. 7 complaints, Your Honor. 7 women in the past 4 months. All reported similar incidents, late at night, empty or isolated parking areas, approached by someone claiming to be police, asking for identification and registration. He read from his notes. March 12th, Federal Hill Parking Garage, 10:45 p.m. Victim, female, age 24, leaving restaurant shift. Reported a police officer asked her to step out of vehicle for suspected DUI. She complied, terrified, did field sobriety test. Subject then laughed, said, "It's a prank," and fled. Victim had panic attack, was unable to drive home. He flipped a page. March 18th, hospital parking lot, 11:20 p.m. Victim, female, age 31, nurse leaving night shift. Reported officer claimed her registration was expired, demanded to see documents. She provided them. He took photos of her license for his records. Subject then ran away laughing. Victim filed identity theft report, had to get new license. Another page. March 25th, grocery store parking lot, 10:30 p.m. Victim, female, age 29, single mother with infant in car. Officer claimed she had warrant, threatened arrest. She was crying, begging, explaining she had her baby. Subject filmed her distress for approximately 2 minutes before revealing it was content. Rodriguez's jaw tightened. April 2nd. He looked at Jessica. College parking lot, 11:15 p.m. You've heard that testimony directly. He closed the notebook. All 7 victims provided descriptions matching Mr. Brennan. 5 specifically mentioned seeing their encounter posted to TikTok or Instagram within days. 2 recognized him from his social media accounts. All reported feeling violated, unsafe, and distrustful of actual law enforcement as a result. The officer looked directly at Tyler. One victim, the nurse, told me she now carries pepper spray and refuses to roll down her window for police unless there are witnesses present. Another moved out of Providence entirely because she no longer felt safe here. These aren't just pranks, Your Honor. These are assaults on trust, safety, and the social contract that allows police to do their jobs. Tyler was shaking. Your Honor, I didn't mean... They were just pranks. Stop. Judge Caprio's voice cut like a blade. Don't tell me what they were. Tell her. He pointed to Jessica. Look at that woman and tell her it was just a prank. Tyler turned slowly. Jessica was crying silently, arms still wrapped tight. He opened his mouth. Nothing came out. You can't, can you? The judge said. Because when you look at her, you see a real person. Not a view count, not engagement metrics, a human being whose life you disrupted for internet points. Jessica spoke, her voice breaking the silence. Can I say something? Judge Caprio nodded gently. Of course. She stood, still not looking at Tyler. I was leaving night class, communications degree. I have 2 jobs. I'm saving for my mom's medical bills. That night, I parked in the college lot, walked to my car at 11:15. Her voice shook. A police officer approached. I thought maybe my taillight was out. I was respectful. I gave him my license. My hands were shaking because my cousin was killed by police 3 years ago. I'm terrified every time I see a uniform. Tyler's face drained of color. He made me get out of my car, made me do a field sobriety test. I was crying, begging him to tell me what I did wrong. Then he laughed, said just kidding, and ran away. Jessica finally looked at Tyler. I sat in my car for an hour, shaking. I couldn't drive. I called my mom, sobbing. I failed a test the next day because I couldn't sleep. I dropped my night class because I'm too scared to be on campus after dark. She wiped her eyes. You took away my education, my safety, my trust, for a video that got, what? A few thousand views? The courtroom was absolutely silent. Tyler was crying now, mascara running down his face. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Sorry you got caught, Judge Caprio said. Or sorry you hurt her. Both. I didn't know. You didn't want to know. Because if you thought about them as real people, you couldn't make your content. The judge leaned forward. Mr. Brennan, you came here thinking this was about a parking ticket. It's not. This is about 7 women who are still dealing with trauma. Still afraid. Still suffering because you needed likes. He picked up his gavel. Here's my ruling. On the parking citation, you're found responsible. The fine is $75. However, I'm also holding you in contempt of court for entering this facility in costume designed to impersonate law enforcement. Additional fine, $2,500. Tyler's face went white. Furthermore, I'm referring this case to the Rhode Island Attorney General for criminal investigation. Officer Rodriguez, please provide all complaint files and evidence. Yes, Your Honor. Judge Caprio wasn't finished. Mr. Brennan, you'll pay the $2,575 within 30 days. You'll attend mandatory counseling about empathy and trauma. You'll cooperate fully with the Attorney General's investigation. He paused. And you'll create one final video for your 400,000 followers. Tyler looked up, confused. What kind of video? An honest one. You'll explain what you did, why it was wrong, the real consequences. You'll apologize to the women you terrorized. You'll show your face, no filters, no editing. Raw honesty about how your chase for views led you here. The judge's voice grew stronger. And I want to speak directly to the social media companies who enabled this behavior. He looked at the courtroom camera, knowing this would be shared online. To TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and every platform watching this, you are complicit. When someone posts 47 videos of themselves impersonating police officers and your algorithms promote them, trending, suggested for you, you are rewarding criminal behavior. He held up his tablet showing Tyler's TikTok page. This young man became famous for breaking the law, and instead of removing these videos, your platforms monetized them, put ads on them, made money from them. His voice was steel. I'm calling on all social media platforms to implement immediate takedown policies for content depicting illegal impersonation. Not after someone gets hurt. Before. Because every view, every like, every share enables the next Tyler Brennan. The gallery began to applaud. Judge Caprio raised his hand, and they stopped. Mr. Brennan, remove that uniform before you leave this courthouse, now. Tyler started unbuttoning, revealing a regular t-shirt underneath. He handed the pieces to Officer Rodriguez, who bagged them as evidence. Standing there in just a t-shirt and jeans, Tyler looked like what he was. A scared kid who'd gone too far. Judge Caprio delivered his final message. Real authority doesn't come from a costume or badge. It comes from character, integrity, and earning people's trust. You've shown none of those. Use this as a turning point. Become someone better, because the next judge you face won't be nearly as lenient. The gavel fell with a sharp crack. Court is adjourned. Tyler left in shame, his viral dreams turning into a nightmare. Jessica remained seated, Officer Rodriguez speaking with her quietly. That night, Tyler posted his final video. No music, no filters. Just him, sitting in his bedroom, explaining everything. The fake uniform, the pranks, the 7 women. I thought it was just content, he said, voice breaking. I didn't think about them as real people. I saw view counts, engagement, followers. I didn't see Jessica crying in her car. I didn't see the woman who quit her job because she's too scared to work late now. I didn't see the trauma I was creating. He looked directly at the camera. If you're watching this thinking about doing pranks like mine, don't. It's not worth it. The views fade. The trauma you cause doesn't. The video went viral. 12 million views. But not the way he'd hoped. Comments flooded in. Some supportive, most angry. Several of the women he'd pranked shared their stories. Police departments across Rhode Island used it as a training example. 2 weeks later, the Attorney General filed charges. 3 counts of felony impersonation. Tyler hired a lawyer with money borrowed from his parents. The case took 4 months. In the end, guilty plea to reduced charges. Misdemeanor impersonation. $10,000 in fines. 200 hours of community service focused on victims' advocacy. 3 years probation. His TikTok account was permanently banned. Instagram followed. YouTube demonetized. The 400,000 followers disappeared overnight. Tyler got a warehouse job. Manual labor. Early mornings. Nothing glamorous. He attended court-mandated counseling about trauma and empathy. 8 months after court, Tyler attended a victim-offender reconciliation meeting. 3 of the 7 women agreed to meet him. The session was facilitated by a trained mediator. Tyler listened as each woman described the lasting effects. The nightmares, the anxiety, the fear. When Jessica spoke, she looked directly at him for the first time since court. You know what the worst part was? I trusted police. My dad was a cop before he died, and you made me afraid of every uniform I see. She paused, her voice steadying. But I'm choosing to forgive you. Not for you, for me. So I can move on. So you don't have power over my life anymore. Tyler broke down. I don't deserve your forgiveness. No, Jessica said. You don't. But I'm giving it anyway. Because holding on to this anger was destroying me. You took enough from me. I'm not giving you one more day. She stood to leave, then turned back. Use this. Become better. Help other people understand what you did wrong. Make something good come from this. Tyler nodded, unable to speak. That moment, more than any fine, any sentence, any punishment, changed him. Judge Frank Caprio never saw Tyler Brennan again. That was exactly what he'd hoped for. One young man who learned before it was too late. One influencer who discovered that real life matters more than internet fame. The case became required viewing at Providence Police Academy. Officers learned to recognize impersonation. They learned about psychological impact on victims. They learned that sometimes the biggest threats come from reckless kids chasing viral fame. Jessica Martinez returned to her night classes 6 months later. It wasn't easy. The first time she walked to her car after dark, her hands shook so badly she dropped her keys twice. She sat in the driver's seat for 15 minutes, door locked, checking every shadow. But she went back. And she kept going back. She still gets nervous in parking lots, still tenses when she sees uniforms, even though she knows rationally that real officers are there to help. The trauma Tyler inflicted didn't disappear with his apology or his sentence. It lives in her body, in the way her heart rate spikes when she's alone at night, in the way she positions her keys between her fingers as a weapon. But she's reclaiming her life, one day at a time. 3 months after the reconciliation meeting, Jessica started a campus organization called Safe Walk. The concept was simple. Students volunteer to walk each other to their cars, dorms, or off-campus housing at night. No one should have to be alone in a parking lot at 11 p.m., scared of every approaching figure. It started with 5 volunteers and a handmade flyer. Within a month, they had 50 volunteers and a dedicated phone line. By the end of the semester, SafeWalk had escorted 437 students safely to their destinations. The program caught attention. Other colleges reached out. Jessica traveled to campuses across Rhode Island, training new chapters, sharing her story. Not just about Tyler, about reclaiming agency after trauma, about turning pain into purpose. Within a year, SafeWalk was active at 14 colleges across Rhode Island and Massachusetts. Over 2,000 volunteers, more than 10,000 safe escorts provided. Jessica was interviewed by local news, then national outlets. She appeared on a podcast about campus safety. A documentary filmmaker wanted to feature her story. But she always brought it back to the basics. One person's cruel choice for content changed my life. I could have let that destroy me. Instead, I'm using it to make sure other people don't face that fear alone. When asked about Tyler, she's measured in her response. She's thought about this answer many times. I hope he's helping people now. I hope he learned. I hope the next time someone considers making prank content that hurts people, they remember my story, our story, and choose differently. That's all I can hope for. She paused in one interview, choosing her words carefully. Forgiveness doesn't mean what he did was okay. It means I'm not letting him take up any more space in my head. He took enough from me. He doesn't get one more day. Tyler works at the warehouse. He volunteers at a women's shelter on weekends. He speaks to youth groups about social media accountability. He deleted all his accounts, lives quietly now. No cameras, no content, just real life. 1 year after that courtroom moment, he wrote Judge Caprio a letter. Your Honor, I wanted you to know that I think about Jessica every day, about what I took from her. I can never give it back. But I'm trying to be someone who adds good to the world now instead of harm. Thank you for seeing that I could still become that person. Thank you for not giving up on me when I'd given up on myself. The judge kept that letter. On hard days, he reads it. A reminder that justice isn't just about punishment. It's about transformation. Tyler walked into court thinking he was untouchable. 400,000 followers, internet fame, viral moments. He walked out facing felony charges, banned from every platform, confronted by the real women he'd terrorized. If you've ever dealt with influencers who cross the line, or if you've been pranked and felt violated, subscribe to Judge Stories for more cases where social media meets accountability. Tell us in comments. Should influencers face harsher penalties when they commit crimes for content? Should platforms ban users who break laws in their videos? What would you do if someone fake pulled you over at night? Have you or someone you know been victimized by a prank? Share this with anyone who thinks viral fame is worth hurting people. Share it with young people chasing internet clout. Share it with parents who need to talk to their kids about online responsibility. Because Tyler learned the hard way. Views fade. Trauma lasts. Legal records are permanent, and the internet never forgets. The person on the other side of your camera is real. Their fear is real. Their trauma is real. No amount of likes is worth that. Dramatization for storytelling and education, not legal advice or reporting.